Somewhere beyond the ticking clock we cling to, an unseen hand lifts the corner of tomorrow's curtain, revealing faint outlines of triumph, tragedy, and choices we have not yet made. As if the future were already written in a quiet script, waiting for the eyes brave enough to see it. And tonight, that script rests right here on your screen. A question whispers through the dark. Is foreknowledge a blessing or a burden? If destiny revealed itself for a single breath, would you dare to keep looking? Or shut your eyes before the light grew too bright to bear? Our story begins in 1904, beneath a sepia-tinted Wisconsin sky. In a modest farmhouse, a newborn girl, Jeane Dixon, is laid in a cradle carved by her father's hands. Her name sounded ordinary, yet every breath she took stirred something ancient. At 5 years old, Jeane insisted her mother give her an envelope with a black mourning border, something their family never owned. 10 days later, a black-edged letter arrived announcing her grandfather's death, exactly as Jeane had foretold. A few days later, she stood at the front gate and announced, "Daddy will bring home a big dog, black with white patches." No one had spoken of pets. Money was tight. Yet 3 days later, her father returned with a black and white sheepdog, as if summoned by her words. Her strange glimpses of the future unsettled the family, but curiosity outweighed fear. In 1911, Jeane's parents brought her to an Egyptian palm reader. He studied her hands silently, then said only one sentence: "She will become a great seer. But visions are both a gift and a weight." He handed Jeane a small crystal sphere. That night, she gazed into its pale light and warned the man, "Be careful with your stove. You'll burn yourself." Days later, a telegram confirmed the palm reader had been severely burned. The whisper of her gift was becoming something louder, something that would shape the destinies of strangers and nations. 1942, in a glamorous Wilshire Boulevard salon, actress Carole Lombard laughed beneath curling irons and glittering mirrors. Jeane approached her quietly, "Do not fly in the next 6 months. If you do, the sky will not return you." Lombard smiled politely and dismissed it. 6 days later, her plane struck Potosi Mountain. Hollywood whispered the same name, the woman who had warned her. Late 1944. A confidential call summoned Jeane to the White House. President Franklin D. Roosevelt, weary and trembling, asked her, "How long do I have left to serve?" Jeane answered, "No more than 6 months." 5 months later, Roosevelt died. At a gala that same year, she shook hands with Senator Harry Truman and stated, "You will be president someday." Less than a year later, he was. The press began calling her the Seer of Washington. Politicians respected her and feared her. In Parade magazine, Jeane wrote, "A Democrat will win in 1960, but his victory will be brief. His life ended while he is still in office." 1960, John F. Kennedy wins. 1963, Dallas. Gunshots. A pink suit stained with blood. Exactly the scenario Jeane had seen. Her prophecies continued. The Apollo 1 launchpad fire, the assassination of Indira Gandhi, the kidnapping of Aldo Moro, major earthquakes she recorded before they struck. In 1971, Jeane published her most disputed prediction, a global war against a microscopic enemy. Homes becoming islands. Borders closed. People shrugged. Until 2020, when the pandemic reshaped the world. Her words were no longer speculation, they were history. Which leaves one question. What about the parts of her prophecy that have not yet happened? Jeane wrote, "In the mid-decade, a decisive struggle will flare in the East. 2 great powers will battle for control of tomorrow. From the ashes, one nation shall rise." She identified China and Russia. But some scholars argue she foresaw U.S.-China tensions. only misinterpreting the uniforms in her vision. And now, as 2025 approaches, South China Sea tensions deepen, tech and AI competition intensifies, trade wars escalate, cyber conflict increases, supply chains fracture. Every headline feels like a step closer to her prophecy. Jeane is not the only voice pointing to 2025. Japanese artist Ryo Tatsuki, known for prophetic drawings, left one last unfulfilled prediction. July 5, 2025. The sea rises and a new land emerges. A self-proclaimed time traveler from 2062 also warns, remember July, the sea will not be calm. Scientists dismiss these claims. Believers overlay seismic maps on shipping routes and ask, could water redraw the borders of the world? But hidden in Jeane's journals is a gentler message, written in lilac ink. From the chaos will rise one of great mercy, one who heals wounds no policy can reach. No name, just a silhouette, perhaps a leader, a movement, or an entire generation rising from crisis. Jeane Dixon's life teaches a crucial truth. Prophecies do not bind us. They warn us. Carol Lombard ignored the warning and died. Roosevelt accepted it and prepared for peace. The future is not a cage. It is a draft, and you are the one writing its final version. 2025 may be calm. It may be turbulent. It may surprise us with unexpected grace. A prophecy cannot change the world, but your decisions can. So if tomorrow knocks on your door, will you answer with fear? Or with hands ready to build something better? The greatest mysteries remain ahead, quiet as unopened letters, waiting for those brave enough to break their seals.